When Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, it triggered my memory of a future war predicted in the book of Ezekiel in the Bible. The prophecy says that a dominant leader directly to the north of Israel will come into power. Could this invasion of Israel happen in our lifetime? Are the pieces dropping into place? Let's take a look at Ezekiel and the vision from God that he received over 2,600 years ago. Ezekiel was a Hebrew prophet who was born about 622 years before the birth of Christ. His father was a priest, and he eventually followed in his footsteps and became a priest in Jerusalem as well. He assumed his future was set, but political events tore his life apart forever. Ezekiel lived in a very turbulent political time. He lived in the kingdom of Judah, which was the southern kingdom of Israel, and it had been conquered by the armies of Babylon. Babylon, which was a superpower at that time, conquered Judah, and they demanded that tribute be paid. After a few years, the king of Judah foolishly refused to pay. That was a drastic mistake. King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon ordered a siege by his army. They destroyed Jerusalem and the temple. Approximately 4,500 citizens were deported to Babylon. Ezekiel was taken to Babylon when he was 25 years old. He would live the rest of his life in exile. After 70 years of captivity, the Jews returned to Israel and rebuilt the city and the temple. The saying, "history repeats itself," is very true in Israel's case. Babylon destroyed the country in 586 BC, and 656 years later, the Romans destroyed the city and the temple. The Jews fled to many nations around the world, but longed to return to their homeland. They remained strangers in foreign lands for over 2,000 years. As recorded in Ezekiel 37, God sent a message to the prophet about the plans he had for gathering the Jewish people from nations all around the world and unifying them into a nation once again. Amazingly, Israel was reborn as a country in 1948. Over 3 million Jews have returned to their homeland from countries around the globe. Since the nation was reestablished in 1948, Israel has prospered. In fact, The Economist ranked Israel's economy the fourth highest economy for 2022. This was accomplished in 74 years. Now on to the prophecy. Ezekiel's vision shows an invasion of Israel in the distant future. This war is predicted to occur when the people of Israel will be living in peace after the return of its people from many lands. The nations who are the predicted invaders of Israel are in the news headlines today. I will substitute the modern names for these countries in my narrative. The primary army who will lead the invasion is called Magog. Magog is today comprised of two areas, Russia and Central Asia. Central Asia is comprised of the countries of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and Afghanistan. The second nation is Persia, which is now known as Iran. The third ally is Turkey. It was made up of the ancient regions of Gomer, Beth Togarmah, Meshech, and Tubal. The final two are nations from Africa, Cush, which is now called Sudan, and Put, which is known as Libya. The mighty force of Magog and his allies will roll down and cover Israel like a cloud. Their plan is to loot the land and to acquire all their resources. They are confident they can take Israel because she is so outnumbered. The nations of the world will protest, but not one will step in and help Israel. At this point, God will step in to save the nation of Israel. God declares that 85% of the invaders will die in the mountains. The soldiers will never reach the cities. God will cause a massive earthquake to shake Israel on that day. The mountains will be thrown down, the cliffs will give way, and every wall will fall. The people in Israel and around the world will be terrified. God will cause such confusion and panic that the armies of Magog will fight and kill each other. Torrential floods shall sweep them away. That is not the end of the disaster. Giant hailstones, fire, and brimstone will decimate the armies. Fire will also rain down on the allies of Magog who live on the coasts as well. There will be so many dead that the vultures and wild animals will feast on them. To cleanse Israel of the bodies, a graveyard will be established by the Dead Sea. It will take Israel 7 months to bury the armies of Magog. The world will be forever changed by God's intervention in this war. So many doubt the existence of God, but his might and power will become obvious for all to see. The Jews will turn to him in gratitude and awe. The world will recognize that God does exist. He is all-powerful. He is eternal. To learn more about this subject, please search Ezekiel chapters 37 through 39 in the Bible.